Good morning. I'm Andy Myers at Weiss Research.
I'm Jen Amos, and this is your morning market update for Tuesday, July 12th. Stocks on Wall Street opened lower following big losses yesterday. But the declines are not quite as bad as the futures market was indicating earlier. Sentiment had been extremely negative as investors worry that the European sovereign debt crisis will spread to Italy and Spain. The cost of insuring the bonds of those countries against default jumped to all-time highs this morning. But the fear of contagion seems to be easing a bit after Italy successfully sold about $9.5 billion worth of 12-month Treasury bills. Following the sale, the euro is recovering from steep earlier losses against the dollar, now trading right around the 140 mark.
Traders are also reacting to some data on the U.S. economy. The trade deficit widened by more than 15% in May to over $50 billion, its highest level in almost 3 years. Economists had expected a much smaller increase, to just $44.5 billion. The jump was mainly due to the higher cost of oil imports during the month. Crude oil topped out at around $115 a barrel in May. Right now, oil prices are below $95 a barrel, continuing their recent decline amid concerns that a slowdown in the U.S. economic growth will cut into supply from the world's largest energy consumer. Later this afternoon, the Federal Reserve will release the minutes of its latest policy meeting. Last month, the Fed kept interest rates at historic lows and officially ended its $600 billion asset buying program. In the statement accompanying the decision, the central bank said the U.S. recovery was continuing at a moderate pace, though somewhat more slowly than the committee had expected.
On the corporate front, Alcoa kicked off the second quarter earnings season after yesterday's closing bell. Profit at the aluminum giant more than doubled from last year's levels, but the results were a bit shy of analyst expectations. Alcoa said that its outlook remains positive, and it expects aluminum demand to rise 12% this year and double by 2020. But the company did warn that the economic recovery is uneven. Shares of Alcoa are more than 1% lower in early trading. We're seeing much bigger declines from a couple other stocks this morning. Renasola is tumbling more than 6%. After the firm warned that second quarter revenue will be below its previous forecast. It's a similar story for Microchip Technology. The company lowered its earnings outlook for the current quarter, blaming slower activity in automotive production and weakness in consumer spending. Shares of Microchip Technology are falling more than 11%.
Another decliner today is Alcatel-Lucent. U.S.-listed shares of the French telecom equipment maker are dropping more than 2% following a downgrade from Deutsche Bank from buy to hold. However, we do have a couple stock winners to tell you about. Corp is jumping nearly 3% after announcing that it will increase its planned share buyback to $5 billion. Corp has $1.8 billion remaining on its current buyback program. And finally, keep an eye on shares of Campbell Soup. It's posting modest gains after issuing guidance for the full year, roughly in line with analyst estimates. Longer term, the company expects adjusted earnings per share to grow 5.7% as sales rise up to 4%. That's the latest from Weiss Research. Have a great trading day.